just like that, we are back in the shop. And in order for us to maximize the stage 2 upgrades and tune and really feel the full capacity of what we've done to this car, we need to do a few upgrades. We need to go to bigger injectors. So for today's project, we're going to use ID 1050cc injectors, and we'll cover a little bit more on that when we do the actual install. We also need a flex fuel. So we're going with the Silly Rabbit flex fuel kit so we can run on that E85. And the kit comes with a harness. We have a fuse tab that comes with a kit. We have 2 fuses that come with it. We have 3 AN fitting adapters. We have 2 fuel lines. And it comes with a GM, which is a commonly used, from what I'm learning, flex fuel sensor. So we'll touch again a little bit more on all the details of install when we actually do that. And while we're here doing this install, it's a good time to do a little refresh on our brakes. They are worn out and the Audi's yelling at us at this point, telling us, brakes, brakes, brakes. They're really bad. Scared me for a moment. I thought I had no brakes. So talking about brakes, this particular model of RS3 comes with Brembo rotors in the front. We're only doing the front. We're not even touching the back. It comes with Brembo rotors in the front, and we're doing the Brembo pads as well. If you go through Audi, this can be pretty expensive. When I priced it out directly through Audi, it was around $3,000 just for the parts. If you go directly through Brembo, when I priced it out for the front rotors and brake pads, I was looking at about $2,000. So Matt over here, who's behind the camera, was so wonderful to find a really good deal at Rock Auto. Yes, Brembo rotors at 50% off for what you can get it directly from Brembo. So the only caveat with the rotors is to make sure we have the right part. Apparently, RS3 came with 2 different versions, and the variance is in the top hat. Mine, the way we measured, I think is a 53 millimeter. It's one of the measurements, and that's what we ordered. So fingers crossed, we hope it fits, because if it does, we have managed to save a lot, and that would be great. And because we assume they fit, we were able to spend a little bit more on the brake pads, and we went with the best version. Unfortunately, Rock Auto was out of the brake pads. Honestly, I don't know if they stocked them, but they didn't have them. So we had to go directly to Brembo for it. Together with this mix, we were able to get it for under $1,000. So hopefully it works, and if it does, you guys can save as well.
First thing though, getting the car on the lift, which always sounds easier than it actually is. I still get nervous lining cars up on the lift arms, especially on a car you actually care about. Now that the car is up on the lift, time to grab some tools we're gonna use to get the brake pads and the rotors replaced. First step, getting this beautiful new speed wheel off. Audis don't use wheel studs, so before pulling the lug bolts, I used the pilot pin so the wheel wouldn't drop onto my feet. Quick zoom through the rest of the bolts, and now we finally have access to the brake caliper and rotor.
Now that the wheel and tire is off, we can see the actual caliper and the brake pads. You can see Audi Brembo front brake caliper comes with 4 individual brake pads. All of them a little bit, well, they're all worn out. That's why Audi's yelling at us. So we're going to be replacing them. To do so, we need to remove the caliper. To remove the caliper, we have 2 fasteners back here that we're going to remove first, and then we're going to hang it off onto our spring. So then we can continue and pull the rotor off so we can compare it to the one we ordered to make sure we ordered the right one.
Next, it was time to remove the brake caliper. Just 2 forward-facing bolts to get it loose, and thankfully they came out without a fight. After that, I spent a few minutes wrestling this beefy Brembo caliper off the rotor. Once it was finally free, I used caliper hooks to carefully hang it out of the way.
The caliper is off. Now we need to remove the rotor. To do so, we need to remove, first of all, this little stud that helps us remove the wheel and tire. And now we need to use a torque wrench to remove this screw here, and the rotor should pop right out. Let's do that. So real quickly before we proceed, and to be safe, something I just learned is we're going to use the wheel lugs and run them halfway through so that when we try to remove the rotor, it does not fall and break my foot. Also, it is absolutely normal, as I've learned, for the rotors to seize due to corrosion, and we cannot remove this one. So we'll need to use dead blow hammer to help us out. And the reason we're going to start with dead blow hammer is because it's not supposed to damage the rotor if we would have used it again. So we're gonna try with that, and if that doesn't work, we're gonna go more aggressive route, but unfortunately, if we use this hammer, we can definitely not reuse the rotor. So we're gonna go with the safe route first. Okay, let's see. Like, it doesn't even want to budge. No, we don't do that.
Shaking the whole lift around.
Okay, we don't want to do that. We don't want to shake the ground. We don't want to shake the earth. Just the rotor.
You need to break the...
It's not, like, I'm not even doing any damage to it. I'm not strong enough. Come on, come off. I'm gonna break this car before I remove this rotor. How do you do that? How do you guys do that every day? I don't know where else to hit it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'll help you a little bit.
Okay.
If you guys only knew how much Matt was laughing at me. I thought I was hitting it pretty hard already, but I still had absolutely no clue how much force this thing actually needed. Oops.
It's not coming out.
You need to phone a friend yet?
Anybody knows the phone number for Thor? Thor? Anyone? Anyone knows Thor? Oh, hey, Thor. Hey, can you help me out? Master mechanic? I can't believe I failed at this. Ooh. Wow. That was a lot of effort.
I quickly removed the lug nut that was holding it on for safety, and the rotor was finally off. Thank you, Matt.
That is why it was stuck. Now let's show me the back of that.
Right, real quickly, before we move forward, let's make sure that we have the same measurements for the new as well as for the old rotor. First thing we're going to do is we're going to measure the levels. So to do that, we're going to drop the camera just so it's easier for you guys to see. So we can certainly see that this is leveled. And now what we're going to do is we're going to compare, we're going to use the digital caliper and we're going to compare the height of the hat. So to do so is we're going to touch the table and now we're going to level that out. And our measurement is 52.92 millimeters. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to touch the table and I'm going to level it out. And our measurement is 53.15 millimeters. So it looks like we have a pretty good fitment, which means you can go to Rock Auto and get Brembo rotors for 50% off than what you would get at Brembo. Huge win. Now let's try and fit them on the actual car.
Before installing the new rotor, Matt showed me something I honestly never would have thought about before. He explained that it's really important to clean off all the rust and buildup from the mounting surface first. Even small amounts of leftover material can keep the rotor from sitting perfectly flat and potentially cause issues later on. So before anything new goes on this car, I took the time to properly refresh the surface and clean everything up.
All right, so real quickly, not a lot of people do that, but as I'm learning along, I'm trying to learn the right way to do. So we did clean up the face of all the corrosion, and what I'm hearing is if you don't do that and you install your new rotor and brake pads when you go for a ride, it might feel like some vibration and you might get stuck adjusting and balancing your tires, when in reality it's just a few little steps that can help along the way. So before we proceed next, we're going to use Permatex. We're going to use Permatex, which is a copper anti-seize lubricant from good old Napa. We're going to paint the face of the hub over here up to this point where the rotor actually sits on the hub.
Are you having fun?
I'm having a lot of fun, actually. I do like to paint, so this kind of works out.
I knew you were going to like this part a lot.
That's my favorite one.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally perfect.
All
Like I
right.
said, it might be a little overkill for some people.
That's right. We're doing things the right way. So we're going to save the rest for the next rotor. And now we're going to bring the new one and set it on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
Doing this for the first time and handling the rotor was definitely a little clumsy, while I figured out the ergonomics of it all. So thanks, Matt, again for helping out.
It went in.
Quickly secured the rotor and
The rotor's on. All right, for this project, I got the extra brake pads from Brembo. And I believe extra is their top
Like you.
tier.
You're extra.
Besides being like me, extra. I believe this is their top tier brake pads that you would use for like track, drag racing, you know, fast trips to the grocery store, whatever floats your boat. So we did cut it here, but have not taken it out yet. I wanted to unbox it with you guys. Well, that's nice. That comes like some high-end women's clothing or something wrapped into extra layers. That's really nice, actually.
Oh, wow. Those have the actual sensors. That's cool.
Oh,
So that's what your Audi's yelling at us for right now, is because this
yeah.
is low and it's like, oh my God, oh my God.
That makes sense. Right, so then we have a pair. One pair for front, and we need two pairs for the front. So let's see, one comes with a sensor. Do you think the other one comes with a sensor too?
I
Or
would
is it
say-
one?
I would say no.
Say
But
no.
let's see.
Yep, you're right. So here's our 4 brake pads for one side. They look very nice. So before we put them on, we do need to remove the old ones off. So why don't we do that? Why don't we go and remove the old ones off first? We kind of have it staged already over here. So it turns out I've never done this before, so I don't have the experience to tell you how it differs or how it compares to other models and other platforms. But from what I've heard is it's different, but it's easy, but also not so easy. So what we need to do here is we need to push down and pull forward, and the brake pad literally just comes off. That easy.
Wow.
So we'll hand this one to Matt for now. We'll demonstrate another one. Let's see if it comes out just as easy. Push, no, this one sits on it. So push down and forward. Yep, comes right out. So let's compare it to the new ones to see how much we really used the brakes. All right, so here we are looking at the new versus used. And you guys can see the reason why Audi is yelling at me. So obviously not very safe with the new power band that we have to go to the track. And here we have another one. Pretty worn out. Let's go ahead and get the rest of them removed, and then we'll get to pop the new ones in. Keep moving with this project.
removing the brake pads was surprisingly easy. You can also see how worn out the old pads were, definitely a must-do before taking the car to the track. Then it was time to unpack the new pads.
So typically to do this, you need a brake spreader, which we don't have. Surprise, it's such a big shop, we don't have that. So we're gonna use this C-clamp here. We do have a brake tool kit, as I'm being corrected right now.
But it's not for Brembos.
But it's not for Brembo. So we're gonna try this and see if it works.
Using this C-clamp was definitely a challenge. But to be fair, I'm also a very challenged human sometimes. Eventually, I figured it out and got the brake pistons pushed back into position. Before installing the new pads, I also spent a few minutes cleaning up the caliper. Not the ideal cleaning method, but trust me, I properly washed it later off camera with the right chemicals. Next, I applied Silk Glide to the contact points on the springs and where the brake pads sit. And yes, this was also somehow challenging for me. I was trying really hard not to get any of the Silk Glide on the actual brake pad surface that touches the rotor. That is a very big no-no. We want the pads to grip, not slide off the rotor. Nobody wants to stop on hopes and dreams. Once the brake pads were all prepped, I went ahead and popped them right in. They went in very smoothly, and just look at that, the new brake pads. All the stopping power in my hands. Next, I cleaned up the surface of the rotor to make sure there's no oils or fingerprints or anything else on the surface. We want to make sure we have a really good clean contact with the brake pads. Once the rotor face was cleaned, I then proceeded to install the caliper back onto the rotor. We got the front-facing bolts popped in, and then it was time to torque it to the specs. And this is where things got really bad. I mean, really bad. I didn't have the Torx socket fully seated in the bolt, and I completely stripped it. Like, completely done, no saving it. I was honestly devastated. At this point, I thought the project might be dead in the water, because in my mind, I might need a whole new caliper, and that could mean thousands of dollars.
Alright, quick update, we're back. We finally found a replacement bolt. Let me quickly summarize what happened. So, turns out, per local Audi dealer parts department, don't know how true this is, so if you are an Audi mechanic or know an Audi mechanic, please chime in the comments. But Audi does not service their brake calipers on this model using the forward-facing bolts. They don't. They actually service it by removing the mounting bracket in the back. Why? I don't know. But because they don't do it, Audi does not have a part number for this bolt. So we had to do some research, and what we found out is that there are multiple Porsche, Mercedes, and Aston Martin models that use the same style Brembo brakes that comes with the same style forward-facing bolt. So we were able to pick up one from Porsche today, and this is the difference between the two. So this is the original one that came with the car, and this is the one we picked up from Porsche. The difference you can see is the old one has the hex head, and the Porsche one comes with the Torx head. Otherwise, they're perfectly identical. And for those who are interested and might run into the same issue, here's the part number. And they're currently stocked by all three, Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Porsche. So there you have it. So we're gonna get those in and wrap up the brake part.
Before installing the new bolt, Matt showed me how to clean out the leftover material stuck inside the threaded hole from the bolt I stripped. Once everything was cleaned up, the new bolt went in like a champ. I used the T55 Torx and torqued the bolt down to the recommended 64 foot-pounds. This time without stripping anything. Yay me! After that, Matt checked over all my work, like usual, to make sure I didn't mess anything up. I got 100% approval, And just look at this beautiful rotor and new brake pads. Next, I got the wheel back on, and it was time to move on to the next wheel. I also wanted to quickly show you guys how the brake sensor works because it's actually super easy to remove. You pop the end connector loose, unclip the wire from the little retaining clip, and the sensor itself sits on the top brake pad closest to the car body. If you look closely at the old pad, you can actually see where the sensor wire melted from the pad being so worn down, which is what triggered the brake warning. Smart Audi. The new rotor and pads are finally on, and honestly, this feels really rewarding. And this time, I removed the rotor all by myself. Stuff like that might sound small, but none of it would have been possible if I had never started this project in the first place. I genuinely love learning new skills every single day.
All right, the brakes are on, rotors are on. It is time to move on to the injectors. But real quickly, I need to move the car over because Matt needs to finally start putting together his red Supra that's sitting over there. If you guys are interested and you like Supra platform, make sure to check out Garage Zen on YouTube and other platforms. He's building a 6-speed manual with a lot of cool new upgrades and some cool new parts that you probably haven't seen in other Supras, so make sure to check it out. But injectors.